Oi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit subscribe down below. Don't forget to activate the bell to receive all of the new videos. Today's topic is dating. So I have with me some American girls. Could you guys introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Emily. I'm 24 and I work at an OBGYN.
Yes, I'm Rachel. I'm 18 and I'm a barista at a coffee shop.
Yeah. I'm Destiny. I'm 19 and I'm a nanny.
I am so glad you girls are here.
Yeah.
I think this video will be so fun. So what they're going to do is answer questions from foreigners, and they do not know what the questions are. Yes. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. The first one. All right, I'm just going to shuffle these up a little bit, you know? Okay. Okay, this is a fun one. Is kissing okay on the first date?
I feel like it kind of depends on the person. I feel like it kind of comes down to personal preference. I personally would not love that. It would not be my preference.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on how long you know someone. So I feel like if you've known them a while and you start dating, you're going to be more comfortable around that person. So I feel like if that moment were to lend itself, you'd feel more comfortable, like, I don't know, kissing. But I feel like if it's someone new, I don't think I would personally feel super comfortable doing it on the first date.
Yeah.
Just me.
Yeah, I feel that. I think that it definitely does just depend on how long you know a person and the comfortability, obviously. Like, if you're still even trying to figure out there's interest. If it's like a first interest kind of date, then obviously not. But I think it definitely is like a gauge.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's good. All right, who pays for the dinner, the guy or the girl?
At first I would say guy, and then I think if you're like going further along in a relationship, I think it's fine for you to like take turns, or you know, you pay for yourself sometimes or whatever. I think, but the beginning, I think it's pretty normal for a guy to pay, and it's most comfortable, even though sometimes I feel uncomfortable letting someone pay for my food. But I think for me, like, I like to give the man that opportunity to, I don't know, do that. I feel like most men like to, especially at the beginning, for sure.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much across the board.
Okay, awesome. The man has to pay. Are there topics best left untalked about?
I think most people say not to talk about politics and things like that on the first date, but I think it also just depends on the person. But I think that sometimes if you're definitely an overthinker, to not be so strict on like talking about like super nitpicky things, because then you won't like give the opportunity for like love and interest to develop, because you're like, oh well, I already know we don't agree on like this thing, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's important in time to communicate and kind of cross all of those things and see where you agree and where you don't agree. But I would say, like, first couple dates, like, there's some things, just give it some time. Like, get to know each other, get to know their character before you kind of talk about those more taboo subjects and where there might be a little more disagreement. Like, kind of find who they are as a person first and then address those things.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Yeah.
I feel like depending on the person, sometimes you're already going to know things about them. But if we're saying first date kind of thing, I think it's good to keep things light and just get to know what their personality is like and not go too deep, just because you're just now starting to get to know someone. So just have fun with it. Don't make it too serious, like right off the bat, you know?
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. And how do you know when the relationship becomes official?
Well, I recently started dating someone, so I feel like for me personally, we had conversations beforehand of where I was personally. I was ready a lot faster, but that's fine, no big deal. But I feel like it's a lot of communication, which I think is good in a relationship, and just being honest with where the person's at. And I think there's nothing wrong with taking time, like, and not rush that process to make it official or whatever. just to get to know each other. And there's something so fun about having that like separate time where not a whole lot of people know and you're just getting to know each other. There's not a lot of like social pressure on it. But I think you know when you're ready, but you need to have a conversation with the other person and be like, okay, where are you at? Are you ready for this step? If not, okay, like let's take a step back and we'll just get to know each other a little bit longer until you feel like you're ready at that point, if that makes sense.
That's good.
Yeah, I know a lot of women, like, really just appreciate the straight up asking, like, will you be my girlfriend? Like, just be upfront about it, make it clear, no questions asked.
Yeah.
But some people are just gonna like, oh, we've been seeing each other for a long time, we really enjoy each other's company. We'll like put it on social media and there we go.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's official for the world, so.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there is like a huge non-committal like talking culture in America, and so like it's definitely not official until that's like directly communicated.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
You don't assume.
You can't assume titles.
Like,
you know?
some people do assume, but I would not.
Don't.
Yeah.
Like, not at all. Because in dating culture, especially now in the U.S., it's very much like, you, like, talk. Like, there's another stage. It's talking, dating, official boyfriend, girlfriend. Like, there's, like, 3 different phases.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep up with.
Wow.
But normally it's, like, the talking phase is... I don't know. It's a weird phase, but
no one knows about that phase.
no, it's a weird phase.
I don't really like that phase.
But you have to be like super straight up because,
Yeah.
like communicating, because you can't assume that you're their boyfriend.
Right.
I mean, you're their girlfriend. My bad.
Whatever you are.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's good. Do you guys like when guys are romantic, especially with their words?
Okay, well, it comes down to love languages.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not a words of affirmation person, but I do come against the grain, I guess, for most women. Most women love words of affirmation, but romance looks different for me then, you know, it's not like, let me read you this 4-page letter I wrote you, like, it's more of like an acts of service, quality time thing.
Yeah.
But, of course, every woman loves to be in our core, to be desired, to be, you know, pursued. So, I think everyone enjoys romance, just what that looks like.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say I definitely enjoy that, but it has to be met with some kind of actual action. Like, if it's just words all the time, and you're not really actually showing me in what you're not saying, then I'm probably not going to be into it, because it just doesn't feel genuine.
Yeah.
And so I think the romantic words and all the sweet things and the letters can be great as long as it's genuine.
Yeah.
And so,
flowery.
Yeah.
like, I don't want you to just... Yeah, I don't want you to just say things just to make me feel good. Like, I want you to actually mean it, and so I think as long as there's genuine action that's met with it, it's nice. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
What is maybe the worst thing that's happened to you on a date?
Yeah, I went on a date with someone, and it was also pretty last minute. So, like, from the get-go, it was just a little weird. But they spent the entire time talking about their relationship with the mafia.
Okay.
And it was entertaining, but it was just really, really strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the best.
Okay.
You know, there was not a second date.
Yeah.
So abnormal.
Yeah.
Very
no.
abnormal.
Very strange.
Very, very abnormal.
Yeah.
Dang, I don't really know.
Okay, fine. I'll say mine.
Do it, please.
Okay, so basically, it was our first date. I'm not gonna say who it was, but he hadn't even said, oh, I like you, or I have, you know, all this stuff. Like, we were on a date, but he hadn't, like, said anything. And I said, like, what's your expectations? And he was like, I want to lead you in fitness. And I was like, what?
What? No.
Yes. That was it. He said, I want to lead you in fitness. And I was just like, this ain't it. This is not going to work out. Because I was like, that is the worst possible thing you could ever say to a woman. I was also very fit at the time. And so I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, smallest I've ever been. I was like, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
As he stuffed his face with Oreos, mind you.
Oh my. Okay. Yeah. I would say that's a no.
I think for me, I am pretty picky on who even gets to like an actual date stage, you know? So I'm not gonna have like those tragic stories, but I think out of my own awkwardness, I remember I was on a first date like not even did not know this person very well, and like they accidentally told me they loved me. Like it was like not like I accidentally like as like a casual thing, but like he like really felt it and was like, I love you, and me in all my glory was like and then just got out of the truck. So very awkward, but we ended up dating. So
okay.
Well, it didn't work out.
It didn't work out,
but it kind of did for a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, you gave it a go.
It wasn't a total deal breaker,
you know.
Wow. So in American movies and TV shows, they fall in love so fast. And this question is this real life in America or what?
You go.
I don't think so. I think that most Americans, just in today's culture, in America, they're really hesitant to commit.
Yeah.
Like, they're hesitant to say anything too meaningful, just because of all of the factors that go into it, and because there is these weird stages of dating that are very full of questions. Where if you're not actually communicating, which a lot of Americans aren't really great at with communicating intention and how they feel about someone, if you're not actually communicating, then a lot of the time it ends up being a pretty slow and sometimes dreadful process. Unless it's just the right person.
Right. Definitely like the whole Hollywood, like we met and then we had dates in the back of a truck, like by the lake, starry night kind of thing. That doesn't happen.
No.
I imagine that just like media's portrayed in whatever country you live in is the same as here. Of course, there are people who fall in love quickly, but overall, I think that we do live in a non-committal, like reserved culture. You know?
I would say most Americans are moving from like marriage to just like moving in and stuff like that without like that one of like commitment. So it's like even the love portion of things, people are very slow to even do that. You know, people date multiple people at the same time kind of thing. For me personally, I'm a very open person, so I know for me, like if I'm dating someone who's open as well, like I think if that vulnerability is there, it's easy to like get that depth of love sooner. It just depends on where your partner's at and where you're at, and if you're both vulnerable and stuff like that, but it's not like Hollywood. It comes from difficult conversations and building that deep connection. So,
for sure. This is also an interesting question. It shows, I think, perspective of what other cultures think of Americans, how they perceive us. And so they said, I heard that Americans are cold when it comes to dating. What are your thoughts?
I feel like it's like two extremes. I feel like people are either really cold or they're very clingy. You know? I mean, there obviously are the middle ground people and the sensible people. But I could say that like younger dating scenes can be kind of cold and a little cutthroat in that nature. Like people get ghosted and you just never know what happened to them, and you know, so there is an aspect of American dating that I think can be insensitive to someone's actual emotions. If you are not actually in it for the right reasons.
For American culture, I think a lot of times we don't want to like admit like that we're not feeling things, and we don't want to go to that person and talk to them. I think a lot of people are so scared of confrontation that instead of confrontation, they just like ghost someone completely, which I've never done or had done to me, but I'm kind of in an older age group. But with younger people, I've heard a lot of stories of people even dating for like 6 months and then someone just ghosts them. Like doesn't tell them why they ended it.
No. What is ghosting for the audience? They might not know.
So ghosting is basically a term for you're talking to someone and then all of a sudden you stop replying. You don't reply, you never contact them again. Sometimes people block them on every social media. Like people who are in love will just ghost someone out of nowhere. I can't imagine.
No, I would be so upset.
No, that's horrible.
Yeah, that is not okay.
So I think it's a younger thing. My age group, I would hope not. Like I would hope they wouldn't be that mature, but it probably does happen.
Wow.
I think that just overall America is very like freedom oriented and like independence, and so like I think that we try to allow that to bleed into all aspects of our lives, and so like there's this like strong narrative that we try to maintain, and so even within the dating world sometimes it's like you feel the need to like play it cool for a while. You know?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, if you're healthy, self-aware, and vulnerable, then that's not something, like, I don't want to speak for everyone, because, like, even with our environment, we're, like, heavily involved in church and stuff, it's not like that, you know? So I don't want to say that that's how everyone in America is, but,
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
This is enlightening for even me.
Yeah.
I'm so far removed from the dating world. I've been married 16 years, and so
Thank
you. Thank you. So, how do you know when you found the one?
If you guys know, let me know.
I personally don't believe that there is the one.
Okay.
Like, I think that there are people who, like, can complement you very well, and that you can be compatible with, but I don't think that there is, like, one soulmate. But everyone always just says, you know. Obviously, I haven't experienced that. I don't have my one. The one, you know. But I think that if you know, you know.
Yeah. I feel like you kind of have like I don't know, you can see the end result with them. Like you can see, okay, I can see beyond dating with them, and I can see myself committing to them. For me, I personally am not like the soulmates kind of person. I believe, you know, you choose who you're with every single day. And so for me, it's just, okay, could I choose this person every day? Like, dude, is their character good for me? And I think that's kind of when I would know that I could be like,
good.
okay, I could commit to this person, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and like one of my best friends, like this isn't something I've personally experienced, kind of similarly to Destiny, but one of my best friends is getting married at the end of the year, and they moved pretty quick, but she reigned very true with the statement, like, when you know, you know. Like, she just had this sense of security and assuredness when she spent time with this individual that she would eventually marry, where she knew, kind of like Emily was saying, like, she could see that future, and it was someone that she knew would choose her and would choose a relationship, and she would choose them right back. And there was, like, a communication. There was a security. It wasn't similar to that, like, American style of dating where you need to prove your independence. Like, it was very much so, no, I want to be with this person because I know that they love me without them having to say it.
That's good. Really good. Okay. When do you meet the parents?
I am a very social person, so I feel like I end up, like, meeting the parents before we're even dating. You know? But that is a double-edged sword thing, because then there is, like, a lot of breakups that I've had have hurt way worse because I was, like, not just losing one individual, I was losing, like, people who I'd considered family and things like that. So I definitely think that you should be more protective with that. And probably wait until you think that, like, this is something serious. But, I guess it's a gauge it based on how you know your heart.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to give it some time of, like, getting to know someone just before I bring them into my home and my family gets attached. Because if there were to be, like, some bad break, or it were to be something that ends up being weird, you know, it's not necessarily the thing where I want to come home and then be like, what happened to so-and-so? Like, and it's not a nature of keeping it from them, it's just a nature of, like, I want to be kind of sure of this person's character before I invite other people to make judgments, so that I have that relationship to be able to speak to those things. And I am also the youngest of a lot of siblings, so meeting the parents means meeting, like, 6 other people.
Wow.
And that's just a lot. You know, that's a big step.
For
so
sure.
I give it time.
I think, for me personally, the people I've talked to have already known my parents beforehand, so it's kind of like, it's impossible for them to not know my parents right away. Like, I think for me, so who I'm dating right now currently, like, I met his mom and, like, sisters before we were, like, official. But he also had already met my family and, like, come over a lot. But I guess if you're new and, like, you don't know someone, I definitely would give it time so you also feel comfortable when you go over, that you don't feel kind of intimidated by their family, so that you feel safe with them enough to feel secure going into that atmosphere, because it can be really intimidating. You know?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, it's 2020. Everyone has a cell phone. What do you do with it? Do you turn it off? Do you pull it out? Yeah. What do you guys think?
I tried to not look at my phone when I'm on, like, when we're on dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm on dates, I try not to look at my phone. I'll have it there just in case, like, something important comes up, like my mom or something is trying to get a hold of me, so I can, like, text her back or something.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I try to be present. Like, I'm really bad at even taking photos because I just want to be super present in the moment, and I don't even really think to do that, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is just more of, like, letting that person know that they are worth, like, setting aside technology. So I'm kind of, like, face down on the table kind of person, you know? Maybe have my phone on vibrate, but, like, don't pay attention to it just because, like, you want to value and be present in a moment. Yeah, very much so.
I always keep my phone in my bag where, like, I won't be distracted by it at all, because if there's an emergency, like, people will be able to get in contact with me. I would feel it ringing, but I don't even want to think about it. I want to be able to be there and not even have the distraction or, like, the convenience of being able to give something else my attention.
So it seems like it's no phones. No phones on the dates. What is an absolute no-no on a first date?
Oh, man.
That's a good question.
Honestly, just any like comment of, like, lack of compassion. I think, like, especially right now with all of this, like, unrest racially and, like, things like that, like, especially when it's important for people to become to know your heart and things like that, like, making any comment that, like, does not promote unity or, like, compassion, it's gonna be like, no, you know.
Yeah, I would say too, if you, like, just talk about yourself the entire time. Like, if you show no interest in actually getting to know the other person and you're just kind of, like, proving yourself the whole time, that's usually a big no for me. That's that's like, it's good to talk to you, but you couldn't even tell me my name at this point.
And in the same breath, you have to engage in conversation. So it's like, you know, you might be talking about yourself because the other person cannot keep a conversation. So I think a good thing to do is think about conversation stuff you want to say before going on the date. Like my mom said, when she was dating my dad, she would think of things to talk about before going on the date and, like, write it down so she could think of questions. Because if you're the one carrying the conversation, chances are, like, that date's gonna fall apart. Because, like, if you're not engaging with someone, they're not gonna think you're interested, and you're not gonna have chemistry if you can't have conversations. So I think if you're nervous, just think about subjects you can talk about on the date before you actually go, and, like, if you can, look on their social media, see what they're interested in, learn a little bit about it, so that you can engage with them in conversation.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Okay. What do you look for in a guy?
I guess I'll go first. Okay. I'm talking a lot. But, so for me, compassion is, like, a really big thing, and humility. I don't like egos. I don't like people who are just unaware of other people's feelings. So I really pay attention to how, like, a guy treats people around them. And for me, like, I really want to be a mom, and I pay attention to someone's character, because I'm like, I know down the line, I want my children to feel, like, so loved by their dad, and I want us to have a healthy relationship, know that he's going to pursue me, treat me right, so that my children have a good view of what love looks like growing up. And so for me, character is, like, the biggest thing for sure.
That's good.
To piggyback off of that, I definitely really do feel like having a teachable spirit is so important, especially, like, if you date with the end goal of marriage, like, knowing that you're gonna so much comes to service whenever you're planning on becoming one, and like, just having the ability to humble yourself and to, like, work through things and to, like, realize your human nature and to like just be teachable, to, like, be able to learn. I think, like, if you have that, then the other issues that you may have can be resolved, you know.
Yeah, I would say for me, just, like, initially what I would kind of be looking for, and I feel like this goes along with character, But honestly, just like clear communication and clear intentions. Like if you've been stringing me along and sending mixed signals and kind of playing games in that way, I'm not going to feel confident or secure in what you have to bring to the table. And so I want someone who kind of knows what they want and they'll go after it without being like prideful or rude or brash. Like someone who can be kind and compassionate and honest, but also communicate those things, communicate intention, show that they actually want to be dating me, rather than it just being this weird mind game of like, do they not? Like, I don't want to have to second guess how you're feeling.
That's good. It's really good. Where is the best place to meet somebody?
For a first date?
Or just
I think in general.
In general, yeah.
That's a good question. I think, so there's like a bunch of different ways you can meet people now, like online, everything like that. I think for me personally, I've never had like a good outcome from like online dating, but I have friends who have. So, you know, it just depends on your personality, even where you're at in a country. Like I would say South Carolina, not the greatest pool of online dating. No judgment there. It's just not great. But like I know some friends in LA who have had great, you know, experience because they're so busy they can't actually meet in a normal setting. So I think it depends on where you are. But for me, I think the best way you can meet someone is getting to know them as your friend, and then it changes later on. Or, you know, like, I think that's just a way for it to be more comfortable. Obviously, you can't control that, but, like, getting to know the guy friends around you, being more out there, getting to know them, and not just only ever talking to the girls. Because, like, that's the only way you're going to meet someone is engaging with the guys, you know?
I have a lot of friends who have met their significant others in coffee shops.
I was gonna say that.
Like, I've had a lot of people. I know a lot of people that have met their boyfriends, girlfriends, future husbands and wives. Like they've met in coffee shops. And then I think especially just because we're kind of in a smaller city, a lot of people meet through mutual friends. Like a lot of the people I know that are dating each other, like someone that they mutually knew connected them, and that's how they got to know each other. And a lot of the time they had like met in coffee shops before and didn't even realize it, but they were brought together by another person. So there's not really like a huge like club or bar scene that people are going to meet people. Definitely. It's more so coffee shops. It's a lot more simple and calm and quiet. A lot more just open and honest. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, like if you're wanting something serious, don't go and meet someone at a bar.
Right.
You know? But I definitely think that mutual friends, like, or even just in a place where like you find community, like at a church or at a coffee shop, where it's like the pressure is off for you to feel like you need to like impress or things like that, because it's just like oh, it's more not natural. Me and you meeting for the first time like on a date. It's like, oh, you're friends with so and so, cool. Like, you know, that's a
big way people get connected for sure.
And have you guys tried any apps, online apps, and what would you say would be the best one, if there is one?
I mean, I have.
Yes,
multiple. I've tried so many. I'm not gonna lie. I would be that type of girl that like have it for a month, or like not even a month. I've never even made it a full month. I would have it like a week, delete it, and then like a month later, I'm like, maybe try it one more time. But the best one I'd say in America, especially, personally, in my opinion, I would hear the most success stories at a Hinge, because they ask a lot of more like deep questions, sort of, and I think you can filter like religious beliefs, if they drink or they smoke, so that you can figure out like you don't just have like a bunch of people hitting you up that have different views than you. But I mean, I think I've heard the best things out of Hinge personally for me.
Yeah, any dating app experience I've had has been very short-lived and unsuccessful. So it ended I ended up deleting the app so I would have more storage space. Like it was not meaning that much. But I have had a lot of people in my life that have had success on Hinge. I feel like in college scene, like Bumble ends up being the thing, but that doesn't end up really being meaningful relationships. It's just like you meet someone, it doesn't work out.
I tried Bumble for like all of 2 days, and then I found out that there's a Bumble BFF, so it's like it's just girls meeting other girls and becoming friends. So I switched it to that mode, and it's been pretty successful as far as finding friends. But I think that since I'm such like an assertive, like strong personality girl that, like, I've typically, like, always been forced to be, like, the man of the relationship. And I think that, like, as of right now, I'm like, no, I'm going to be pursued or it's going to be nothing.
Right.
So, like, I'm done with, like, dating apps because I don't want to
Yeah.
act like I'm, like, hey, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
You know?
Good.
Yeah.
What is your ideal age to get married?
Stop laughing. I think for me, gosh, I can't say too soon because I'm actually dating someone. I would say, like, the latest I'd probably want to get married would be, like, 27. But for me personally, I really want to be a young mom. I don't, because I've lived a lot of life, like, for me personally, I feel a lot more ready to settle because I moved out so young and grew up fast. So for me, 28, I would want to be, like, the latest because I want to be, like, I want to be a younger mom if possible.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it would depend just kind of where I am in life. Like, if I'm in school, if I've settled into a career, like, what that looks like for me. And I feel like that's a big factor in it for a lot of Americans. A lot of Americans prioritize career over love most days. But I would think, like, by 25 would be nice, you know? 24 probably at the earliest.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say 24, 25.
I don't think I have, like, it at the earliest because definitely people have, like, there's maturity levels, and the thing is like, I know some people who got married at 19 and their marriage has flourished and it's been amazing. And then I also know people who got married at 19 and had no comprehension of what an actual marriage is or the work. So I think that, like, honestly, for me, it's kind of like whenever it happens, I'm down at any age, as long as, like, someone is okay with taking steps for, like, premarital counseling, for, like, things like that, so that we're going in well-versed, well-informed, knowing what we're getting ourselves into, because I'm kind of, like, one and done, not really planning on having a divorce kind of person, you know, just me.
Yeah, I remember I always used to say 25, it's, like, the perfect age, and I was 18 when I got married.
So crazy.
Super young,
Yes.
super young.
I know, I'm like, I say this, but anything could come along and change that, you know?
Totally.
If you know thing is true, then that could very well change that quickly.
I thought I'd be married at 18, and here I am at 24, so...
Hey, we never know, right?
I would have not been a good wife at 18, I'll just tell you now, so it's good.
Yes, it's good. I'm enjoying this conversation with you girls. It's been fun. Who should ask the person out? Who should pursue? The girl, the guy?
I think it kind of depends. Like, I don't think that there's anything wrong with a girl making a first move. But I think at the end of the day, like, when really first showing intention, it is nice for the guy to kind of step up and show that. That's just traditionally how it's been, but I don't see anything wrong with a girl making a first move. Like, it's nice for a guy to just be clear with his intentions, but if I really felt the need, like, you know, it's my time to shine, we're just going to go for it, I wouldn't fight that.
Yeah, I think you can definitely ask guys out, especially I feel like in our culture now. Women are more empowerment, like, I'm going to do what I want. But I think if you're getting into a relationship and it's you doing all of the engagement and, like, keeping the conversation going, making the dates happen, then that I would say cut it off, because you want someone just as invested in the relationship as you are. So if it's always going to be like that, then that's not healthy. But if you, if you show interest, if you ask them out, and then after that he, like, shows the same interest, then I think there's no problem, you know?
I think that, like, women should just... I like the narrative of, like, women being able to make first moves, but as long as... I don't think it doesn't matter, as long as we kind of just realize that men do have fear, too, of rejection and, like, those things. So, like... So I think it's good to experience, like, the anxiety that, like, that brings, but as long as there is a genuine, like... two-way pursuit, then I think that, like, it is okay, you know, to make initiation.
This is a good one. How do you avoid those awkward, silent moments on first dates?
Those are the worst.
I know.
I think you just really have to keep engaging with conversation.
Yeah.
Like, not letting there be awkward silences.
Yeah.
Like, just try to, like, obviously listen actively, but also try to think of things to talk about so that you don't really have those moments. Or I think, in general, I think first dates when you're doing something can be good, too. So that you're kind of, like, moving around so that it feels more natural to have those awkward silences rather than, like, sitting face-to-face at dinner. That's kind of awkward. You're gonna have silence if you're stuffing your face with pasta, but, you know, making fun of my accent. But, you know, if you're doing something, you're being active, like, let's say you like plants, you go on a date to look at plants or something. I don't know.
Hey, plants
but
are
like
great.
where you don't someone has done it, but where you don't have like that pressure to keep the conversation going. I don't know.
Yeah, I would say asking questions that kind of build upon themselves, like not asking a question that's just a one and done answer, but something that's going to kind of spark more interest and more conversation, or like for a first date going and doing something so that you kind of have something that can become a topic of conversation. Like if you're going mini golfing, you can like, you know, you can talk about that. You can like have that little competition. And so you have something to do that also opens conversation and kind of prevents the like weird staring at each other. What's really going on here? I don't know what to say. So I would just say asking questions that can build more conversation. And will kind of like show more of what they're interested in and passionate about, so you can continue to ask those questions, or like pick an activity and do that.
But I feel like when all hope is lost, though, like if it's just like severely awkward and you're at dinner, that's why I have my phone right here on the table, like I mentioned earlier. You check the time, and then you pretend like someone had just sent you this like far out text, and you can totally bring up a new conversation and it not be like awkward because you just act like someone else had brought it up and you're like, oh my gosh, listen to this, and then
pretty genius.
boom, there you go.
Fake it till you make it.
Okay.
Not that it's happened before or anything, but
Sure.
Oh, this is good. Okay, after date number 1, everything went amazing. How long do you wait to hear back from the person, or are you the one to reach out to them again?
I mean, I personally, I don't like the rules of like waiting to text kind of thing. Because I feel like if there's interest there, I'm gonna be upfront about it. So, you know, if I had a good time on a date with someone, I'll text them when I get home and be like, I had a really good time with you. Thanks for hanging out tonight, or something like that. I won't wait till like 2 days and be like, fun time, you know? Like, I'm gonna be upfront because I don't have time to waste. I'm not gonna play games and stuff like that. So
A quick follow up is nice, as long as it's not like weird or like too much or way too deep, way too fast. But I think like a simple text like, hey, I had a great time tonight is nice. Like it kind of cures the anxieties that you might both be having. Even if it went amazing, it can still be kind of stressful and a little like anxious for you. So I think a quick little follow-up text is not too bad. Wait a couple days before asking them out again, I would say. But there's nothing wrong with letting them know that you had a great time.
I think like a way to get around that is that like I'm kind of just a like safety person anyhow, so I'll just be like, hey, text me when you get home safe. Like I say that all the time, so you can conveniently say it on a first date. Hey, text me when you get home safe, and then the'll always be a follow-up.
She's got her little tricks.
She has all the tricks I do.
I'm telling you. They're there, right up there.
You guys, I think this is the question that everybody has been waiting for.
Oh, no.
Would you date a foreigner, and what culture or people group are you most attracted to? If so.
You were saying if so.
Yeah,
Sorry.
if so, yeah. If so, like if you would date a foreigner. Should I ask it again?
Sure.
Okay.
We laughed.
Okay. No, it's okay. Okay. So I think this is a question that everyone has been waiting for. Would you date a foreigner? And if so, what culture or people group is most attractive to you?
I think I would definitely date a foreigner. I don't know if there would be like one culture I would pinpoint. I feel like if they're a good person, they're a good person.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I have gotten, like, I work in a Colombian coffee shop, so I've gotten to be around a lot of people from Latin America, and I really love that culture, and I think that they're just amazing people. So, like, that would be awesome, but just because of things I've done in my life, like, I've met people from Belgium, and from Norway and India, and honestly, all of them have really beautiful and different aspects of their culture that I'd love to, like, get to see and know and see played out. So I can't say I would pinpoint one, but I would definitely date a foreigner.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, I definitely would love to date a foreigner. You know, but I think that for sure all cultures have great things, but I definitely do love the fact that, like, Hispanic culture and stuff is very, like, family oriented and things like that, and they're sassy, but it's just a part of it. But it's not like a take it to heart kind of sassy, you know. It's just like how you love people.
Yeah.
But honestly, I hope that I break American culture stereotype quite frequently.
Yeah.
So I also would not be like, I'm gonna date this culture, like race, culture, whatever. You know, I think there's something beautiful about, like, just meeting the person. But
definitely.
I don't know.
I definitely think I would. I mean, not currently, but I think I would. But I think for me, the hardest thing dating a foreigner would be if they're in a different country. Because there's a lot to go into factors of, you know, right now you might be okay with it, but when you start having kids, do you want to be away from your family? Are they willing to come here? Are you willing to go there? So I think that's one aspect that's hardest about dating foreigners. Like, my brother and his wife are in Australia with their 2 kids because she's Australian. And so for us, I know that's hard for him being away from the family and having kids and not having them really know us, you know? Oh, I know it's hard for my brother being away from my family and having 2 kids and them not knowing my nieces or knowing us that well, you know, other than FaceTime. So I think that's the hardest part when dating a foreigner. You have to kind of think of things seriously faster than you normally would in a relationship with someone in your country.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
Very interesting, guys. They all seem open to foreigners. Okay, where is your favorite meeting place for a first date?
I would say a coffee shop. I know I've mentioned that a bunch, but I feel like it's a very neutral place. The only problem is when you're in a smaller town, you're pretty bound to run into people you know. So that's the only downside. If you go to the right ones at the right time, you can usually avoid that. But I feel like that's pretty neutral. Or, like, let's go do something fun. Like, let's go to an arcade or, like, play mini golf or whatever. But if we're going to, like, sit and have a conversation, a coffee shop's a good place to do it. Not too formal, not too casual.
I definitely think that anywhere that's not the movies is a good place, because then it's like, well, one, you get yourself in a sticky situation to where, like, you know nothing about a person, but you spent hours with them, you know, and things like that, and it's just not
not ideal.
Okay.
I think a fun one that you could do is, like, a festival or, like, a fair. I think that's a great one if there's one going on in the area, like, because it's just, like, open, like, grounds, a lot of people are around, so you feel comfortable, you'll probably feel safe, and it's just super lighthearted. So if there's something like that, or there's a farmer's market or something like that, like, that's a cute date to do, like, on a Saturday morning, so it's not, like, super serious at night or something, you know? So I think those are good date ideas, too.
That's really good. Wow. Okay, in your experience, are guys quick to take initiative or slow to move?
In my experience, I would say that they are not quick. But, you know, that's me. That's subjective. But in my experience, I'm also a lot younger, so I haven't really encountered a lot of people that are looking for something very serious and are wanting to jump on that. A lot of people my age, like, really are in that non-committal stage. So most people that I have, like, been around, it has been pretty slow or just frustrating or, like, being strung along. But I think if you want a relationship, like, most people will make that clear, and they will be quick to move on that if it's right. So I think that really is just dependent on the person and the maturity level. From my experience, it has not been the best, but
I think for me, it's like, if they know me then apparently I have like fear me written on my forehead or something. And there is no quick to initiation if they know me.
Okay.
But if they don't know me,
Very initiative.
very, very initiative if they don't know me.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very.
Really, it really
So
just
very
depends.
much so. Anywhere, everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, okay.
So true.
Interesting.
In DMs, in
Gas
person.
stations, DMs,
Wow.
the gym.
Stoplight.
Yeah.
Stoplights.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Literally
Wow.
last week.
Strangers
Wow.
are more apt to really jump
Okay.
on it than
Yeah.
someone that you've known for a
Okay.
while. I guess because it's just there's things that could be ruined if they move too quickly. Because I mean, when you're thinking that way, like I've had strangers be very bold.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
people that are closer to me, there's a lot more hesitancy.
Okay.
I've heard I give off vibes of like committal, and so I don't think anyone like rushes to date me because I've heard it's like you're just like not a person someone takes on a casual date. Like you're the person they take home. So I was like,
come on.
I mean, it's nice, but at the same time, I was like, I would go on a casual date. I was like, jeez. So for me, I think normally, I guess I give off those vibes. So I would say people are a bit slower just for the fact of like, I guess I don't give off the vibes like I would just like mess around.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that
That's
makes
good.
sense. Yeah.
That's good. You guys, that was the
Wow.
last
Oh,
question.
yeah.
You did it. Wow. Thank you guys so much for
Yeah.
sharing. That was amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment below what's something new that you've learned about dating in America. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please also comment below. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and subscribe to my channel. We'll see you soon. Ciao, ciao. You guys can say bye.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.